The cool moonlight filled the forest, and King Vikramaditya, the brave warrior, was walking silently. He was carrying the pale skinned ghost Betal with long hair and glowing eyes on his strong shoulders. The ghost laughed softly and said, "O king, once again you have taken me from my tree. Can you carry me silently till the cremation ground this time?" "No, I don't think you can, because I will tell you another riddle filled story." King Vikramaditya said nothing. His sword was shining in the moonlight. His eyes were calm but firm as he continued to walk through the forest. Betal began his story in a mysterious tone. "O mighty king, listen carefully to the story of the four sons of a Brahmin. Long back ago, in the great kingdom of Magadha, there lived a wise Brahmin whose name was Ravi Sharma. Ravi Sharma was an elderly man with a soft smile and eyes full of knowledge. He was known across the land for his wisdom and honesty. He had four sons: Devendra, Somendra, Mahendra, and Dharmendra, and each son had a different nature. Though their father was a great scholar, the four sons were lazy. They did not study properly and they spent their days in idleness. Ravi Sharma often tried to teach them, but they never listened carefully. Years passed, and the wise Brahmin became old and weak. One morning, he called his sons and softly said, "My children, I may not live long. Knowledge is the greatest wealth. Without it, life becomes difficult. So, learn things and gain knowledge." But his sons ignored his advice and went on with their careless lives. After some days, Ravi Sharma passed away. The four sons sat sadly beside their father's funeral fire. When the smoke cleared, they realized how helpless they were. They knew nothing useful and had no skill to earn money for living. Filled with the shame, they decided to seek knowledge at last. Devendra, the eldest son among them, said, "Let us go into the forest and find a wise teacher." The brothers agreed and began their journey through dusty roads and green fields. After many days, they reached a forest full of tall trees. There, they found a holy sage with a long grey beard in a small hut by a river. The four brothers bowed before him and asked, "O Acharya, please teach us wisdom." The sage looked at them kindly and said, "My children, true learning comes with discipline and patience. I will teach each of you something special. But remember, wisdom without goodness is dangerous." The four brothers promised to learn sincerely. Days turned into months and months into years. Under the guidance of Sage, they studied hard. Finally, when their education was completed, the sage called them together. He said, "Now tell me what each one of you has learned." Devendra, the eldest among them, proudly said, "Master, I can assemble the bones of a dead creature." The second brother Somendra said, "I can cover the skeleton with flesh and skin." Mahendra, the third brother, smiled and said, "I can breathe life into the body and make it move again." Finally, Dharmendra, the youngest, bowed humbly and said, "I do not have such magical powers, but I understand the right and the wrong." The sage nodded with a wise smile. "All of you have learned well, but never forget, wisdom must guide your actions." The four brothers thanked their guru and began their journey back to home. The forest was thick and silent as they walked together. Sunlight filtered through the tall trees. Birds were singing softly on the branches above. Suddenly, Devendra, the elder brother, saw a pile of bones on the ground. His eyes were shining with excitement. "Brothers, let us test our learning here. I will assemble the bones first." Carefully, he arranged the skeleton with his skill. Somendra, the second brother, then stepped forward and said, "Now I will rebuild the body." He chanted his mantra and added flesh, muscles, and skin. Soon, A lifeless but perfect body lay before them. Then the third brother Mahendra, with full of pride, said, "Now I will show you the real power." He closed his eyes, whispering his sacred words and breathing life into the creature. The youngest brother Dharmendra then suddenly cried out, "Wait, brothers, let us first see what animal this is." But the others laughed loudly and said, "You are too cautious, Dharmendra. Nothing can go wrong. We have learnt a lot now. Let us bring it to life." Ignoring Dharmendra's warning, Mahendra finished his chant. In a flash, the creature opened its eyes. It was a ferocious lion. The lion stood up and roared so loudly. The forest trembled. Before anyone could move, it leapt at the brothers. In a few terrible movements, it killed Dharmendra, Somendra, and Mahendra. The youngest brother Dharmendra screamed in horror and climbed up a tall tree. From there, he watched the lion roaring and disappeared into the jungle. Tears were filled in his eyes as he saw his brothers lying lifeless. He climbed down slowly when the danger was gone. With trembling hands, he gathered their remains. He lit the funeral fire and prayed with a deep sorrow. "O brothers, may your souls find peace." Dharmendra traveled alone for days and left the forest. He became weak. He reached the grand court of King Chandrasena, the noble ruler of Magadha. Dharmendra bowed in front of the king and told him everything that had happened. He spoke of his brother's pride and the terrible result of misused knowledge. King Chandrasena listened carefully and was moved by his honesty. He said, "Young man, you may not know magic, but you have wisdom. From today onwards, you shall serve as my royal counselor." Dharmendra bowed humbly with tears in his eyes. His life found a new meaning, not through power, but through compassion. Betal's voice now echoed through the forest once again. "O King Vikramaditya, now answer my question. Among the four brothers, who was truly the most learned?" The King Vikram walked silently and thought for a while. Then he spoke with confidence. The first three brothers had knowledge, but no wisdom. The youngest brother Dharmendra knew what was right and what was wrong. Knowledge without wisdom leads only to the destruction. Therefore, Dharmendra was the wisest of all. Betal burst into loud laughter. "Ha ha 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 ha. Great answer, Vikram. But you have spoken again, and now, as always, I must return to my tree." Before King Vikramaditya could stop him, Betal vanished into the night. King Vikram drew his sword and turned back into the forest once again. The forest grew darker as the night deepened, but King Vikram's courage never faded. His footsteps echoed on the dry leaves. The Betal's story still lingered in his mind. He thought of the foolish brothers and the wise Dharmendra. He understood that true learning is not power, but wisdom and kindness. Betal's voice whispered one last time, "Wisdom is greater than knowledge." And the brave king marched on, ready for the next story. Thank you. Jai Hind.